All right, in this video we're going to look at factoring, and we're factoring trinomials, but there might be some other stuff involved there too. So first time, whenever you're looking to factor something and you see a squared, you automatically think in your head, hey, let's do the two bracket thing. But before you do this, a step you want to do before is look for a common factor. You can do it this way, but then in the end you have to do a common factor anyway. I'll maybe do it both ways and just show you what I mean. Or maybe I'll try and do it both ways. These numbers are huge to do the AC method, so I'd have a hard time with that. Anyway, let me just try and common factor it first. So I take a look at the numbers. For sure 2 will go into all of them. Maybe I'll start there. So if I take 2 out, I'll be left with 12w squared plus 22w minus 70. But then I look and I think I can take another 2 out. So if I take another 2 out, then I'll have 6w squared plus 11w minus 35. I don't think I can factor anything else out of there. So 2 times 2 is 4, so I have this. And hopefully you can see that now you're dealing with the numbers 6 and 35. That's a whole lot nicer than 24 and 140. If you couldn't factor anything out, then you're stuck, fighting with those numbers. But first I would try and factor something out. And now what I'm going to do with this one is I'm just going to try a guess and check and just see if it works. I guess I could try, I'll go ahead and try the AC method. AC method's a little harder. So AC method, 6 times 35, what would that be? 70 to 210. So it's 210. So I have to get two numbers that multiply to a negative 210, and they have to add to 11. Well, 21 and 10. No. Yeah, 21 and 10. 21 times 10 is 210. Yeah. It has to be positive 11, so I'll make this one positive. Yeah, so there's my numbers. So I'll go 6w squared plus 21w minus 10w minus 35. Okay, and now I'm going to bring in an extra bracket thing. So I'm going to, maybe I'll make this a square bracket. So I'm going to factor out of these first two, I think I can factor 3w out, leaving me with 2w plus 7. And then the next I can take out a minus 5, and that'll leave me with w plus 7. Oh, not w, 2w. Oh, and now they're the samesies, right? Okay, so now I'll leave my 4 out there. And now I can do, this is common to both, so I can factor it out, 2w plus 7 out. And if it goes, then I'm left with 3w minus 5. And that's how I'd factor that one. A lot of people would try and factor this out, and they might come out with something like this, 8w plus 28, and then over here 3w minus 5. So if you're able to do AC with this, and you might get something like this, take a look at each of your factors and see if you can take a common factor out. Like 3w minus 5 you can't, so you're stuck with that. But this one here, you could factor out a 4 out of each of those. So if you can factor a 4 out, then you're left with 2w plus 7. Then it's completely factored. So if you don't take that 4 out of this, it's not completely factored. Okay, and notice both, you get the same answer both ways. Another one like that one. So here's a good one. So 48b squared, and you look at 48 and 140, like it's amazing that you went and figured out those numbers. Like that's too hard for my head. But doing it, I think you're okay. This first one, you probably could have factored out a bit more. Like 6 and 14, you can take a 2 out of that. So if I take an additional 2 out, I'd be left with 3b plus 7. I'm seeing good things happening here. Okay, and then, so I'll have 16b, 3b plus 7, minus 20 times 3b plus 7. So they both have a 3b plus 7, so I factor that out. And if that goes away, then I'm left with 16b minus 20. And at this point, you look and see, can I take a common factor out? And this one, I can take a common factor of 4. Okay, so if I take that 4 out of there, I'll get, so 4, and then 4b minus 5. And here I have 3b plus 7. And then bring that 4 out to the front. So 4 times 3b plus 7 times 4b minus 5. Now just to check, something that I would do is, just to make sure I'm going to get that 48, you can multiply the first terms of each factor. So 4 times 3 is 12, 12 times 4 is 48. Okay, sorry, got interrupted. So we put the 4 out front. And so that would be our complete factor. You always want to check to make sure that in any one of these factors you can't factor out more stuff. For example, what was I going to say? Oh, what we could have done is, if you'd have factored this directly with the AC method, sort of like, yeah, sort of like what you'd done up here. I'll just make it up. That you might have got to a step where it went like this: 12b plus 28 times 4b minus 5. So if you'd have done the AC method or guess and check and came up with this, you take a look, and this here, you can still factor something out. You can take 4 out of each of these terms. So you take a 4 out, then you'd be left with 3b plus 7 and the 4b minus 5, and then that would be factored completely. So always, always at the end, check. Oh, I forgot to throw this. A lot of people have trouble with factoring, and I don't know why I thought today that instead of fish are friends, you can say factoring is your friend, not food. Okay, just a bit corny. All right, here's another couple examples I have. This one here, right off the bat, and this isn't numbers but letters. There's y's that you can take out of everything. So you can take a y squared out of everything, left with y squared plus 12y plus 27. And then you factor this like a regular trinomial. 3 things that multiply to 27 and add to 12. I'm thinking 9 and 3 with a y squared out front. And I think that's completely factored. Let's try one more. All of them. Okay, so I hope that helps you in doing just that one little type of factoring. The main thing is, with the big one right at the first, see if you can take a common factor out first. Take something out right off the bat, and then see what you do. Like this one, you could have done this. You could have said, well, why don't we, instead of being just a y out front, I can make this a y squared and this a y squared. But then I could put maybe plus a 3y here, plus a 9y there. I think that would be factored correctly. But notice that this one and this one, they both have a common y that you could take out. So you could take a y out of this one, left with y plus 3. Take a y of this one, left with y plus 9. And then if you go y times y, that's y squared. And you have the y plus 3, y plus 9 at the end. Always easier to take out a common factor first, whether it's letters or numbers. Oh, I don't have another one. I guess that